3 of Tableau slides, and this might be a bit of a weird upload schedule, but my previous day 3 video didn't have any audio that was good, so here we are again. So this is our first bar chart. First type of chart. It's a bar chart, obviously. And it's pretty self-explanatory. The bar chart is the most commonly used chart like everywhere, and it tells data through length, and like you can add on different types of labels and stuff as you have used my previous videos. So first things first, I don't have my data source right now, so I'm gonna go to Excel data source, or I could just go on my slides, and this is just a link to the data source that is Superstore. And yeah, project data sources. If you open that, it's on the Tableau forum, but like this is way quicker. So download this. Boom, as you can see, the Excel has been downloaded. I'm just going to drag it up here. And then we have our Superstore. Now all we gotta do is drag orders and maybe people here. And now what this is called is, actually we don't need people right now, it's just orders. We update now, and then I'll click on here, and this creates an extract. An extract, by the way, is basically just like a copy of your data, because if you have like a live connection, it sometimes takes a super long time, and extracts make that simpler. So bar charts, yeah, let's create one. So all you gotta do, it's the default chart. Who knows why? Probably because it's the most common. Category sales, boom. And if you remember the marks card from my previous video, you can know that you can drag some to labels, category to color, and just add a little bit more flair to it. You can also add more categories. For example, subcategory, you can make the bar charts more. As you can see, there's these little panes, and you can sort them, and boom, you have a bar chart. Now here's this little thing called the Show Me tab. It's super helpful. You can basically change your data in here to any type of chart you want. For example, if I do pie chart, they wouldn't exactly work because, well, it's not meant to be converted into a pie chart, but you can still do it. If you convert it into like a tree map, however, it would still work. And I'm going to drag sales to label as well, and tree maps. That's going to come up a little bit later. But first, let's do line charts. Line charts will always be something used to show stuff over time. You literally can't make a line chart without a time kind of pill. Pill is one of these things. So as you can see, there's this little calendar icon right next to it. That is a time icon, calendar. So you drag order date up there, and then let's say sales over time, and what you get is this. Now this may seem extremely strange because it's not set to line yet, it's set to automatic. And now this is a bit, well, dry. It's literally just a tiny check mark. So if you want to change how long it is, you could change the data from discrete, which is, if you remember, part by part by part, to a continuous line, which is continuous. It keeps on going on, and as you can see, the line got a lot longer. And, well, this is a line chart. However, it may be a bit boring considering the fact that this is year. And as you can know, year isn't, it's like, there's not much change over year. There is some, but not a ton. So if you change it to continuous month, however, you can see all the fluctuations. And you can also add color. You could add, let's just say, month to color. Now, you can't exactly tell because it's a continuous. However, if I were to drag order date to color, and remember, it's the default order date is year. It's a discrete year, so it has been split up by color now. And this might look a little bit better. So that's a line chart. Next thing is an area chart. It's literally just a line chart except with area. See? Yeah, it might be a bit better for the eyes, I guess. But yeah, I'm just gonna stick with my line chart. So next would be pie charts. I hate pie charts, and if you ask any respectable data analyst or visualization person, you will tell them that pie charts are great, and they will give you a response that is either smacking you in the face or just saying pie charts are bad. Pie charts are bad is because you can't exactly tell the percentages, well, unless you're like a genius or something, because I literally cannot tell the difference between these two pie charts. And, well, and not pie charts, these two slices of the pie. Can you tell what the percentages are? No, I can't. One of them is 14 and one of them is 9. They're very hard to find the difference. So if I were just to create a pie chart, if I hover over it on the Show Me tab, you see you need a dimension and 1 or 2 measures. So a dimension is the blue over here and the measures over here is green. So I'm just going to click on sales and maybe by category. It's a very default option. And if I want to make it bigger, all I gotta do is click on this little rectangle over here, and I will be able to do entire view, and it got a lot bigger. Okay, next is, well, can you tell? This one, pie charts are usually used to show percentages. So if I wanted to do, let's say, show the percent, I would label it, but it's not percentages yet. So you can click on this little arrow down here, and you can add quick table calculation, and you say percent of total. And this is 32, 31, and 36. They are extremely hard to tell. And they're pretty much evenly matched. However, if you wanted to, like, let's say you want to add another category, you add, let's replace category with subcategory. See, this is now extremely messy in my opinion. But yeah, you have these, this is 14, this is 14.7%, and that's very hard to tell. So this is the pie chart. I suggest you don't use it, because next we will be using is a donut chart. A donut chart is great. So first, I'm going to get rid of all this stuff, and I'm going to create what is called a calculated field. A calculated field is basically a calculation. For example, 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So this calculated field would give you the answer 2. However, I just want to do 1, 1. It's valid because 1 is equal to 1. So I have created the calculated field. Next, what we got to do is you want to go to the dimensions and click on 1 or more measures, because that's what the Show Me tab needs. So let's go subcategory, sales, boom. You got a pie chart. Now, what you want to do is drag 2 of these 1 pills and drag them to, let's say, max. Because recently I've been having some technical difficulties with this stuff. So I'm really hoping that this works. And all we gotta do is click on dual axis. And I swear to God, if one of these does not change size, I am going to cry. Yes, I am crying right now. So, donut charts do not seem to work at all at this point. Because, well, if you look at this, the size is overshadowing that of the color. And it doesn't make any sense at all. But if I go on the opacity, you can literally tell that this is the gray stuff and this is the pie chart. The pie chart is still in there, except it's just being overshadowed by this giant gray thing, gray ball. So, I'm guessing what the problem is that, well, color. I accidentally removed color. So if I change the color to white, and I change the size to like a really tiny thing, it's still going to be white, because white is literally the color of the background, and basically, I have screwed up. Because you can't make one of the pie charts bigger, because they're both being covered at this point. And now this may be because, well, these things are the same. So if I were to change the size again, you will be able to find that the donut chart is back. Now, why is that? It's because when I adjusted the size, the sum of sales, this is the angle, this is the size, they were both there. The max 1 had the same stuff as max 2. That's the reason why it didn't work. I had to get rid of all the stuff from Max 2 in order to make it so that the hole, it turns into a hole. So now we have a donut chart, and it may be a bit tiny. So what we're going to do is freshen this up a little bit. Right click, you get rid of show header. Right click, you get rid of the format worksheet, and click on the show me tab. And for lines, you would just go 0 lines, turn it off, and that should also turn off the grid lines, and boom, you have a pie chart. But this is not any ordinary pie chart. This is a donut chart, which is a lot better. And yeah, you have a donut chart. It looks, since there's length involved, the human eye can actually tell a little bit better. Because like I can clearly tell that, let's say this is bigger than this, but only slightly. Originally, if it was a percentage, I couldn't have told at all. So next, what we want to do is sum of sales. You want to add it to label so you can actually tell. Sum of sales, right click, go to percentage of total. And as you can see, the biggest percentage is the gray one, phones. That's a lot of sales. So, ta-da, you made a donut chart. And by readability, donut charts will always win. So that's their tutorial on how to make a donut chart. So if y'all kind of got tuned out because of all the technical difficulties, I understand. So show me pie chart. You need a measure and a dimension. So subcategory, sales. Let's go with profit this time. Boom. Now it's a bit messy. Click on rectangle, entire view. Then create calculated field. 1. 1 is equal to 1. 1. 1. Right click. Or click on the little arrow. Measure. Max. Measure. Max. Dual axis on the second one. They have become one. Get rid of all this crap. Change the color to white. Change the size to big. And boom, you got your donut chart. Next, add label. Right click or click on the arrow. You know, like on regular Tableau, like not Tableau public, because this is a website kind of. Normally you can just right click, but you can click on the arrow as well. They're pretty much the same thing, and I might have gotten you guys confused, but sorry. Right click means click on the arrow. Percent of total, and boom, you got your pie chart. No, it is not a pie chart, Alex. It is a donut chart. So next is the scatter plot. Scatter plots is what you usually think of when you hear the word data. You see a bunch of like dots. So next, what you want to do is you could do sales by profit. So if you see scatter plot over here, it's got to be somewhere over here. You would need no dimensions in 2 to 4 measures. So what's 2 measures that have some kind of correlation? It'd be sales, profit, and discount. Now this may look hella messy, but you're like, wait a minute, Alex, why is there only 1 dot? Well, that's because, I'm going to get rid of discount, that's not really needed. It's because there's this little thing that Tableau does, and it's called aggregation. Aggregation basically means you put all the numbers together, and you get a singular dot. But I can get rid of that if I go to analysis at the top, click aggregate measures, and boom, you got a lot. And I want to adjust sales with profit. Oh, Lord. And yeah, there is your scatter plot. Now you can make it look a lot better. So you could add a trend line, you could add more color. It doesn't really matter, but for profit and sales, there's something called a profit ratio. And profit ratio is kind of made for this. So I want to create a calculated field, call it profit ratio. And if you know what a ratio is, math, it would be profit over sales. Now, profit is usually always smaller than sales. So if you go to the profit ratio and drag it to color, you will get this. You can see that all the negative profits are down here, and it's like an orange and red color. Meanwhile, all the positive profit ratios are blue and up here. So there's definitely a correlation. And you can also change the shape if you don't like filled in. You could change it to just regular dots. You could change it to X's. Ooh, that actually looks kind of good. Stars? Not stars. Don't do stars. Maybe... Ew, X's. Just go with regular. Dots might be a bit basic. Sorry if this is like off tangent. I really like these shapes. They look cool. Let's just go with X's. And if you want to, you can always add a trend line. How do I add a trend line, you ask? Well, what you want to do is go down here, click on Edit Axis, and look for a trend line button. And if you are very observant, you may have realized, hey Alex, there is no trend line. And I'm like, yes, there is no trend line right now. So I'm going to click on Format Worksheets. I'm going to go to Lines, Grid Lines, they're off. That just makes it cleaner. Now, you might be getting impatient and you're like, Alex, where is the trend line? Calm down, man. I'm trying to figure it out. And currently, I do not know how to add a trend line, but that's where the power of Google comes in. How to get trend line Tableau public. And also my spelling is horrible. Oh, it's in the analytics pane. I'm a dum-dum. It's over here. Most people forget that the analytics pane actually exists. And this is useful. You could use the average line, which I'm going to drag to here. This is going to be by table. And boom, you have this thingy. Now this does not make any sense at all because what you want was a trend line. I clicked on average line. So what we're going to do is Control Z that and Control Z that. And we're going to go with a trend line. And you can, if you know what logarithmic things are, good for you. Normally it's linear. And yeah, now this line may look a little bit ugly. So what I'm going to do is click on Edit Alt Trend Lines. I would like to change the color of said trend line. But that may not be possible at this point in time because the trend line in the analytics pane is just a regular trend line that's just been given to you. So there you go, you got your trend line. And next you would, drag it to the analytics pane. And next is a tree map. Tree maps are actually really cool in my opinion. So let's go, let's go back to the Show Me tab. We can say, for tree maps, you would need a dimension and one or two measures. So I'm gonna say category and let's say sales. Oh hell no. Go away, AirPods. Category, sales. And let's click on this. Now this is a frick ton of individual sales. Now this looks terrifying in my opinion. It's like, oh my god, it goes on forever. However, what you can do is instead of doing it like this, you could actually just make it so I'm pretty sure it's always going to be like this, but let me try something different. Yeah, it's due to the sales, alright? Let's go subcategory. Because a singular category has a lot of sales. Who would have thought? So if I do this and do trend line, it should be slightly better. Nope, it is not. Yeah, basically when you're using a lot of data, I don't recommend using tree maps. But the thing is, it shouldn't be like this. It should be like, oh, yes, it's because, let me see. That's kind of unique. Yeah, so that's not how it works, Alex. Alright then. So basically, tree maps are cool, but currently, they're tree-based. You wouldn't recommend since you can't really tell the size most of the time. But like, for example, tree maps definitely need 2 or more dimensions, the blue thingies. So I would select category, subcategory, sales, click on this, and yeah, it's just that it's because I've unaggregated the measures, if you guys remember. Because, yeah, this is so much better. And we can add some of sales to like the label, and boom, everything looks better. So remember to re-aggregate. And there's dual axis charts. I taught you guys how to do dual axis when I did the pie chart. Basically overlays 2 charts on top of each other. And this can be useful for showing 2 trends alongside each other, which I usually do most of the time, like with COVID data and stuff like that. And let's go profit, let's go dual axis, let's change this to month, and that does not look very nice, so yes. Dual axis, these two colors should change, and we can see that when profit spikes, so does sales. So there's some kind of trend there. Dual axis bar charts, I don't really recommend using them. They're a bit iffy, and yeah, that's the end of day 3. But for those of you, or just me in the future, for future reference, Alex, this is me calling you out right now, you might forget how to do stuff like drill down. Now, drilling down is like really advanced, so I'll do it next video. So thank you guys for being here with me today, and the end. Join the Data Science Club.